Welcome once again to a Thursday night live edition of Discover South Florida. Larry Mastropieri, broker owner of the Mastropieri Group, alongside myself, John Laws, and we're going to talk a lot about Fort Lauderdale this evening. Big things happening in Broward County, and just when you think things couldn't go any better for Fort Lauderdale, Larry, this is big. I don't know how big, but it's big because according to Rent Cafe's new renter engagement tracker, Fort Lauderdale has now outpaced Miami as the top rental hotspot in the state. Wow, take that for what it is. That's not to be confused with the top rate ranking nationally. This is based off 150 of the largest U.S. cities. Rankings are based on a number of factors, including apartment availability, page views, listings, saved as favorites, and saved searches. Oh, that's big. That's very big.
Well, you know what's interesting? This is now how we are tracking and trending how to value property as well when it's on the market. So
Really?
like these stats, the way they're looking at them is kind of it's very interesting because this is what we've turned to. So like it's like meaningful, right?
I'm glad you said that because I first
it's
was
funny.
the dumbest stat.
It's funny, but like, okay, let me give you an example here. So before we digress here, but when we list a property, put it on the market, there's all these sites that are getting X amount of views and people are saving listings and they're interacting with the listing and then they're calling and scheduling showings. And so what we do is we track with our system. It's our proprietary thing. We track how many views and saves people are getting. So views, saves, scheduled showings, offers. And depending on where you are on on those four stats, it will tell you basically what your home's worth, right? On some level.
Kidding.
Yeah, because like, or where you should adjust to sell your home is probably the better way to put it, right? Maybe not what your home is worth. The market's going to tell you that. Somebody's going to show up and pay you, right? But like from a marketing strategy perspective, like they're like tracking like, okay, what city's the most interesting to people? Well, you can do that in a micro market and say, what listing is the most interesting to people, right? How many people are viewing it? And then how many people are saving this saying, I like this home? And then how many people are actually scheduling the tours? And if you know what the rest of the market's doing, which we can triangulate because we have that data too, you can kind of say, okay, well, if you didn't hit 3,000 views, 50 plus saves, 10 plus tours in 14 days, and one offer, then you're not priced properly, most likely in this market when it comes to selling. And this is how we think about listing homes now after we've been on the market. And we can typically tell you what your home should be priced at after 14 days on the market. And it's like right on the money, man. It's like incredible.
Really?
We've been doing this probably for the past year and a half, almost 2 years. And so that's like 200, 250 homes sold in that window. And so, I mean, it's like almost true every time.
Right. Obviously, there's a small margin of error, I guess, one way or the other. And
yeah, you get outliers, right? You get the random somebody just pays out of nowhere, or you get we're way past the days on market average or median, and then all of a sudden you get 3 offers. It's like, where did that come from, right? Just random stuff like that. Obviously, market is ebbing and flowing at any given time, and buyers are moving in and out of the market. And so like, you just don't know. But for the most part, if you're like in these, if you're in these thresholds on each one of those metrics, you can tell. So with that being said, page views, favorites, save searches, and then availability of apartments is how they score who's the top rental market, which is kind of interesting. Overall,
I found it fascinating that it wasn't a little more that the top market in Florida in this respect really is pretty far down the list in comparison to the top rental markets. For anyone who was interested, I would have never guessed that Washington, D.C., Kansas City, and Cincinnati are the top 3 nationally, whereas, Fort Lauderdale, number 20. I don't know. I just always pictured Miami and Fort Lauderdale as being big rental markets, regardless of pricing.
Yeah. I mean, what does this really mean? Does it to?
I was hoping you'd tell me now, Larry.
You know, what is it? What are the key? Here's the key takeaways. Washington, #1 hotspot for renter engagement during the first half of 2025. So like people are just interested in being there. There's just a lot of activity. So I think that's what, they're really trying to say. For an investor, this list is kind of interesting, right? You can kind of say, okay, where's the best value in the marketplace, or where's the cheapest homes, and if you overlay that with the best rental markets, you can kind of find the best value, right? The best deal maybe, or the best opportunity. So this is kind of neat. So I can see that as a value play, for something like this. I understand
the DC. Well, I guess you're saying, just people were interested by looking at it, because I'm like, I don't know a single person in their right mind that would want to live in Washington, DC. I have family there, and they're there because they work there.
Well, I think that's it, right?
Yeah.
I think that's it. Yeah.
It's like, hey, go check out the crime. Oh, I'm sorry, that's still going down, but I'm not gonna go there.
What was interesting? I was reading this. Where does it say it on this? It says something about, Fort Lauderdale. Within the region, Fort Lauderdale ranks just behind major movers like Atlanta, which is ranked 5th nationally.
Yeah.
Amarillo, Texas. But I was
Amarillo.
Amarillo.
I've been there.
But Orlando fell out of the top spot. Fort Lauderdale.
Orlando. I didn't even think of Orlando.
I could see that. Orlando's affordable.
Yeah, I rented in Orlando for a summer once when right out of school.
Yeah. Oh, here. Edging out of Orlando, which is #3, and leaving Miami completely off the list. Orlando slipped 15 spots year over year, while Fort Lauderdale surged forward, signaling a clear shift in demand within the state. Yeah. Orlando's not dead, though.
I know. I was
neither
say,
is Miami.
I mean,
neither is Miami. Listen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. Let's talk about something else that's pretty interesting. Fort Lauderdale.
Are we moving on already to the next Fort Lauderdale story?
Yeah, I'm over
it. All right. Well, Fort Lauderdale just got a fat check too. The hits just keep on coming. $88 million federal check, which is part of the Federal Floods Recovery Fund. Which, this was something that was after a record-breaking April 2023 rainstorm that flooded the city. I remember people that were around there and, posting videos and stuff. Yeah. I mean, I remember downtown was a river and everything that you can imagine with that, which, it's over 2 years ago. But Fort Lauderdale finally got that check for $88 million. And the question right now is, it's like, okay, well, now that we finally got it, what are we going to spend it on?
Yeah. So you remember this rainstorm? It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I remember seeing somebody had a great drone shot. It was going over. I don't know if it was Los Olas, but it was one of the main drags in Fort Lauderdale, and it was just a river. Yeah,
yeah. Massive, massive floods. It was so surprising because where we were in Boca at the time, nothing, no issues, right? Maybe there's some water, but it wasn't like this. What I found interesting was just they named the areas or the neighborhoods that got hit, right, the most, or that were most impacted by this. Hold on, let me show you. Yeah, so you had Edgewood, which is right by the airport, right on the south end of Fort Lauderdale. And then you had River Oaks, which was just north of Edgewood. And then you had Melrose Manors, which is just west of 95. So this whole little area, here, up here, really got flooded. This is the river, one of the big rivers here, and you can boat all the way west of 95, which is very unique for areas down in Florida. These are navigable boat. You look at these big boats, that's a pretty darn big boat. And you can keep these boats here, which is in other parts of South Florida, that's not really a thing to be west of 95 and have a big boat like that. But that's probably part of it. The drainage and the way these neighborhoods are set up is just probably not really good for this. they talk about this a lot, where like Fort Lauderdale's infrastructure has been aging, and there's work to be done, money to be spent, and frankly, they probably let it go a little longer than they should have, right?
I was gonna say,
So,
well, hopefully they'll do something with that 88 million to put it towards that. I mean,
that's the thing.
I couldn't even hazard to guess how much it would cost to redo some of that infrastructure.
More than that, probably. Yeah. I'm guessing. But they talk about where they can spend the money. They can obviously repair homes and buildings. So I'm sure there's some allocation to that, probably a lot. And then there's just restoring critical infrastructure and public facilities, elevating structures, which that's tough. Expanding community services, investing in flood mitigation to reduce future storm impacts. Like the investing in future flood mitigation to reduce future storm impacts and restoring critical infrastructure is probably where this money should go mostly, and probably then to like some people that really needed it during that. But I mean,
you're 2 years removed now.
It's 2 years. Again, like, yeah, I don't know if anybody was counting on this money. So I really think like building for the future, like, hey, this isn't going to get any better, man. It's not like these storms are going to get less intense, right? Most likely. So yeah, that's what they need. It looks
hey, here's the check.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the deal.
All right. Well, I love how they have this implementation plan, where we can discuss it for 120 days or this is interesting, if like anything ever runs that smoothly.
So they have to propose to HUD what they're going to do with the money.
Right.
And then HUD signs over the money, the grant. Interesting. HUD sets up the city's line of credit for available funds. That's interesting. Yeah. So this is we'll see where this goes. We'll see if they make good use of this money or if they just waste it.
Oh, I'm sure that wouldn't happen, Larry.
Never.
All right, so let's move back to Boca, where the Batmazians get the green light for Meisner Plaza Hotel in downtown Boca Raton, a project that I feel like we've been talking about for 2 years as well.
It's been a while. This one's kind of neat. Well, we first were talking about this project when the Batmazians and the U.S. Postal Service were at war, right?
Right.
So it seems that it's coming to an end, the U.S. Postal Service location. I have my P.O. box there. I don't know where that's going.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're just going to move
that. I just assume what? Is there not another post office like within a mile radius?
You won't believe this. It's like, this is kind of a thing. It's like hard to find P.O. boxes. Not like impossible, don't get me wrong. It's just like I don't know. There's just not a lot of them, right? It's a thing.
Say I've never had one.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's going away. There once was, I'll show you where this is. Let's see. I have the address here. And so to fill everybody in what we're talking about, and we've done like a lot on this. So this is, if you've listened to any of our stuff in the past, you probably already know what the deal is. So let's just zoom out. Downtown Boca. Zooming in, literally heart of downtown. This is Meisner Park,
just south of Meisner Park,
right? The whole deal, everything that's going on here. And this is Tower 155 next door, which was a 2019 or 2020 build. And so the Batmazian Family Investments Limited owns this whole thing right here, this whole corner. And they've received approval that they've been working on after battling the lease here with the U.S. Postal Service for a while. But with the city now, they've received approval for the 12-story, 242-key hotel, which would include 19,000 square feet of retail and 16,000 square feet of restaurant space. I'm pretty excited for this. I think it's a pretty cool project. It looks really sharp. I mean, look at this thing here, right? I mean, this is not.
If I was going to make an argument for everybody flashing their green signs of Save Boca that I'm seeing everywhere. Look, Larry. I mean, I got my hair cut the other day, and this was right there. Picked one up on the way out. I mean, that would be in theory under construction at the same time as all the other stuff with the government campus, correct?
I think this one's, I don't think they have much option here on this one. This one's Boca Raton's Planning and Zoning Board voted in favor of developer James and Marta proposal to build a mixed-use hotel. This has been professionally handled. It's owned by them. They've rezoned and well, not rezoned, but they've structured the deal with the city that they've approved. I don't think you can really turn this around at this point. This feels like it's on its way, assuming who knows how long.
Well, I'm just saying, but for everybody who's complaining about it, saying that there's so much construction that's going to be happening there, I'm like, well, yeah, I mean,
there is
a lot of stuff.
I get that, but there's no, I don't know. What do you want to do? You want to like not do this? You want to come on, like this plaza sucks.
It's so, I mean, it's so outdated, especially with Tower 155 right behind it, Meisner Park across the street, and all these other nice places. It's like, you kind of need a facelift here.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this place will be super cool when it's done. Rooftop pool deck with city views. All the restaurants and stores they're going to put in here. It's just going to make the downtown way cooler. And to your point, there's a lot going on here, right? What are they tearing down here too? It actually isn't on the map. Isn't all this torn down right now?
Yeah, it is. Well, I mean, because Violetto at Sanborn Square and
right here, right? Yeah, I'm not losing my mind. It's this.
No, it's there, right? They just get lucky on whether or not they've updated the map recently.
Yeah, that's where it's at. Oh yeah, they definitely haven't updated the map because these are almost done.
That's all gone.
Too. Yeah, Les Rives.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's a lot. I mean, this is a Class A office project on this corner that will be going up. Huge project, just like this one. Huge project, huge. And then Les Rives is a bunch of townhomes priced at like $4 million each or something like that, $5 million each. So, those two projects will redefine this area that's kind of been a little sleepy, connecting Meisner Park area to Royal Palm Place, right?
Yeah,
or Plaza, right? So, yeah, that'll help. And then if they ever do the amphitheater here, which looks awesome.
What is going on with that? I mean,
all these things take
they're going to do it. They're not going to. I mean, we've done videos on that where they have these, the renderings. It looks really cool how they could possibly do this, and then it's like, all right, every time I go by there, I don't see a thing. No shovel.
Yeah. You know what would be interesting? I'm interested to see if this project actually begins in 2026. That's what they're estimating completion in 27. So they're planning to build this in
the Meisner year.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Batman's gonna have to pull some strings to make that happen.
If I had to make a bet, this isn't getting done that fast. So we'll see. I'm excited. I hope they break ground. I hope they start moving dirt and just get off to it. Okay. Yeah, and it looks like the post office is on its way out. So there you go.
Well, now I feel bad that knowing you're going to lose your PO box.
Yeah, it'll be okay. I'll take a new place to go out in downtown. Yeah.
All right. So are we going to talk about Naples?
No.
Okay. I was ready for it. I mean, it's interesting. I just sometimes don't think our producer is familiar with the layout of South Florida. Now, I found this interesting, just having a little more of a background covering sports, that FIBA Americas, which evidently their North American headquarters was based in Miami. Well, they were like, you know what? We don't want to be in Miami anymore. Let's go to Hallandale Beach. So because at first when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, because the overall headquarters is in like Switzerland. So at first when I saw that, I was thinking, oh, they're going to, they're moving everything out of Switzerland. Okay, that's cool. But no, okay. So this is the North American location, essentially. FIBA, if you're familiar with the International Basketball Federation, they bought 3 Class A office condominium units at 800 North Federal Highway in Hallandale Beach's Atlantic Village, which is apparently pretty nice. Have you been over there? I have not.
I have not been.
I believe it's new,
but I know exactly where it is. We've talked about it. It's right in like the heart of that Hollywood Hallandale market, which is nice. Yeah.
I mean, they're getting 50% more office space than they had before. I think it's near a bunch of things, including the Bright Line. And I guess it just seemed like a nice fit. And I was like, oh, well, that's cool that they were able to find a way to upgrade. And, because frankly, it's cheaper than South Miami. I mean, it makes sense.
And it's not, and generally speaking, relative to the rest of the country, $3.85 million for 6,000 square feet, right, of office space. It's a big number, but it's a pretty cool building. So,
well, right, and especially in having a name like FIBA, and all these international basketball stars and stuff. I hope they do a little more with the marketing for that. I mean, putting Jokic, or I'm trying to think, or Luka Doncic, just like international players. Like, why don't you do some marketing, advertise that you're there? I didn't know you guys were in Miami.
Yeah, that's interesting, right?
I mean, yeah, like some sort of display. I don't know. Maybe they had that before. I'll have to find out.
Yeah, location-wise, it's kind of better, right, to be there. I mean, you're right in between two airports now.
Oh yeah, I mean, it makes sense for a number of different reasons.
Yeah, pretty quick, efficient location in the up-and-coming area, in a quality building, better pricing. Just it's all around good. So,
which it was actually, and I think I knew this. I mean, it was in Puerto Rico for a long time before that, because that's oftentimes where they would have like the NBA All-Stars when the ones playing for Team USA would do some sort of exhibition, and I always felt like it was in Puerto Rico.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the more you know.
The more you know.
Okay, so if you weren't familiar with it already, Florida's manufacturing sector is on the rise, but unfortunately, there's a catch, and it's not a good one. Evidently, the output, which has more than doubled since 2000, tens of thousands of jobs have actually disappeared. So if you look at that and you go, wait, how is that possible? Well, evidently, it has to do with, automation and technological advances, making things more efficient so they don't need traditional factory workers on the floor. In fact, in the last 24 years, 30,000 plus positions have left Florida when it comes to the manufacturing for that reason, despite having more than double the output now. So,
yeah,
that was before AI. So God only knows what's going to happen now.
We have a commenter. Love you guys. Just found you recently. Do you have any comments about constant pushback to Boca Government campus redevelopment from the local community? Oh boy.
Davis, I don't know, Larry. Do you?
Yeah, I mean, I have my opinions, Davis. I have my opinions. Yeah, Davis, how do you feel about it? Are you pro get it? Just let the city kind of do their thing, what they're already planning to do? Or are you pro like save Boca? What side of the fence are you on? Yeah, me too. Same. So Davis said, I'm just a reasonable capitalist young person that can't identify with the NIMBY attitude from these older folks. The meetings online are wild.
Yeah.
So, I just actually had this up before. It's so funny you brought this up because there was two recent, you probably watched them then, Davis, right? The like on the 27th, like yesterday or the day before, they had a meeting, and I was recapping that briefly, just seeing where we're at. Yeah, my general opinion of all of this is the people who are there have a lot of free time. Yeah. So like, and why do they have a lot of free time? It's because they're probably older and retired. Is this a PC way of saying what I'm about to say?
And won't be around long enough to truly enjoy the benefits of what this updated community will bring. I mean, that's what it is. I mean,
And I agree. So I agree with that, John. And I also think like, there's an unfair representation of the people at those meetings because the people that are pro get this done aren't really like going to just like spend a whole bunch of time over there and yell and scream and throw a fit, probably because they're like too busy.
No, you're
respectfully to everyone else that's listening, that's my freaking opinion. And I know people are gonna freak out and be like, "Oh my God, you don't care about all the traffic and all the other things that this causes." I just like, if I'm gonna be completely honest, I'm generally, and I'm not like super up on exact details of what people are disputing, but I'm pro build something awesome in that downtown Boca campus and make it big and make it epic. And another reason why I'm like not like super anti this project is because I actually don't think it's like an environmental issue. They're trying to make some of these people are trying to make it.
They're saying?
Yeah, some they're trying to make it an environmental issue, and it's like, dude, like there's warehouses all over this place.
Is there rainforest there, Larry?
Yeah,
is there rainforest in the government campus area?
Let's build up downtown. Let's make sure the infrastructure supports it, right? Let's see if we can optimize and do things that make traffic less annoying. But let's build up downtown instead of building in the Everglades. Let's do that. Let's like focus on scaling that up a bit. So, yeah. What Davis said, one person was legitimately afraid that Boca Raton was going to turn into New York City or Chicago, and I just sat there dumbfounded. This is the nonsense. So I was pulled into another project, and it was crazy, and I had to walk away from it because people were getting crazy. There was another project in the central, like north of downtown Boca, that they were trying to rezone some things, and the neighbors were the guys who were running this. There was like a panel. The neighbors were like verbally assaulting the leaders, like outside of the event. They were like trying to trash these guys' names, and they were reaching out to me, these panelists, like, "Hey, we need more positive support, pro support for this, because I own a lot of property in those neighborhoods." And I was like, man, like I don't like I'll voice my opinion here like this, but I don't need to hear. Like I walked into one of those meetings and I was like, this is out of control. They had to remove somebody that was like, wouldn't give the mic back.
Now it makes me want to go. I'm not going to lie to you.
Dude, John.
It's like, can you bring popcorn? Are you allowed to have food and drink?
To Davis's point, it can get a little crazy. And it's like, and again, so I think the city officials and the people who are responsible know this. I don't think they, I think they take all this with a grain of salt. Right. So I think I'm hopeful that this project in downtown Boca gets done and moves along smoothly and is done right. Whatever that means, is done right. But I'm pretty much pro, like, yeah, get rid of all these shitty warehouses. The baseball court, like the baseball field that you're upset about that's getting removed, that's a Boca gem. Get the fuck out of here. Right. It's like, are you kidding me? Oh God, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. If anybody would like to educate me on a legitimate reason why we should halt all projects in downtown Boca, please, like, feel free. Give me like something. Tell me something so I can like understand your perspective, other than like you're worried about traffic and building up a city. Guess what, guys? The city you were here 30 years ago, you moved into, it's
already gone.
It's gone. And I know you don't want your city to change, but that's what happens. Change happens.
And we've talked about this several times. One of the things that I respect about Delray and Boca versus like West Palm Beach is the fact that they have those restrictions on how tall you can make buildings and things like that, that it kind of, it doesn't get overwhelming where, I feel like every time I go back to West Palm Beach, it's like, mini Fort Lauderdale wannabe, that it's just, and it's like, if that's what we're going to do, fine. I mean, more power to you, but I'm saying it's nice to have options. Like that, even if you build this up, it's not going to be like that until something it passes, but it hasn't yet.
I agree. And frankly, like whether you like, I don't know if people like are like thinking, oh, we're competing with Delray. Let's just call it what it is. Delray has has a better downtown. They've done a better job at executing. And the second the city of Boca Raton kind of figures a few things out and we get some approvals to do some things, the whole city goes up in arms over this nonsense. It's like, guys, this is like what we've been waiting for. We've been hoping Boca could like be as cool as Delray. and execute, we could be so much better than downtown Delray. We could be way better. We don't have some of the riffraff neighborhoods that Delray has. We don't have to like change all these random rough little neighborhoods. Boca's already really nice
and
everywhere.
you got the Bright Line right there. You've got a vein through the rest of South Florida. It's right there. It is walking distance from the station.
Yep. So we have the opportunity to have a really cool area over the next 10 years. And I hope the people who are freaking out right now just don't get their way. Yeah.
Or if they disagree, they at least do it in an orderly, fashion and respectful of everyone else in the room, which I'm sure is what will happen.
I heard you guys say this before, and you're right. The area east of Crawford all the way to the Bright Line is frankly embarrassing. Yeah. This is like, it's just like, that's it. Gosh, it could be so much better. It could be so much better. We did a video on it. We were like showing like right, John? We were showing like,
they're great ideas. I like I said, and you keep saying it's like somebody who's on the other side, explain it to us. What are we missing here? That this is so bad that it's like, we got to save the rainforest. Like what? I don't get it.
Here's the other thing. The traffic thing for the downtown Boca project, or I'm sorry, the city hall and that whole project over there. That project is in between like a bunch of major roads. So like, you can easily get to Glades, you can easily get to Palmetto, easily to Dixie, Federal. So to me, it's like just focus on.
Are you cutting through there anyway? I know I'm not, unless you live right there.
Yeah. In fact, like with projects that are like pre-developed like this, like maybe if you're like kind of anti it, if you're like, there's not enough parking, sure, let's figure out a way to like, can you just like scale up the parking a little bit? Like, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Great. Yeah. But I just think, over the next 10, 20 years, the parking thing, it might not even be a problem in these downtowns.
Which would be nice because, a lot of places you can't say that. That's always, I think I was born a grouchy old man when it comes to parking. I hate it. When you got to look for, it's like I could be having the best day of my life. If I have to start trying to find a parking spot, I'm like,
I live off of Palmetto, right? I live right off of Palmetto, east of the Intercoastal. So right by the beach. And so whenever I have to go somewhere, I have to take Palmetto Park Road. Unless I go up to Spanish River or south to Camino or something like that on A1A, or I take Fifth or something like that to get like kind of around that stuff. But to me, there's like plenty of ways to kind of wiggle around and get around where you need to without too much. If you stay straight on Palmetto, traffic is more than I'd like. They've been doing a little construction there. They've improved the roads a little bit. Realistically, you need more lanes, but like that's also a little crazy to make Palmetto Park Road a 3-lane on each side road. That's like that turns you into like a highway. There's just a lot of traffic lights there, and that's just what it is. But again, like I think there's ways to not be in that traffic, and I don't have a problem with it. I'm pro this, and I have to literally drive through it every day. So I don't know. Anyway, we'll move on from our soapbox on this one. Yeah.
All right. So we were talking about Florida's manufacturing sector, which I don't know where we're going with that, other than the fact that job efficiency and technology has led to a mixed bag when it comes to manufacturing jobs in the state of Florida. Again, if you're just tuning in, that evidently since 2000, jobs have declined by over 30,000 positions. Because automation is cutting the need for traditional factory workers, despite the fact that in terms of performance, their output has been more than double in that same time frame. So, technology does things like that. And I was joking right before we started talking about this. God only knows what AI is going to do with that, just as it continues to make things more efficient and automated. And it's like, regardless of your political leanings, both, the current and last president were trying to, bring manufacturing jobs back to the U.S. Biden's administration invested billions in reshoring high-tech manufacturing programs, like through CHIPS and the Science Act, the Inflation Reduction Act, and the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. That sounds cool. But anyway, but of course, we know right now with Trump, the tariffs, which is encouraging U.S. businesses to bring that production back home because it would make a little more sense financially. I don't know, but as of right now, that really hasn't done crap regardless. So is it gone forever? I don't know, Larry. I'd like to think there's still hope.
I think just technology in general is gonna remove some of these lower end jobs like that as they automate, right? So anyway, that's okay. That increases GDP of Florida, right? It improves profitability.
You always glass half full.
Yeah, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. People just have to grow, improve, adapt. That's a thing. We're doing it every day here. So yeah. Let's talk about Delray Beach, since we were talking about them before. Delray Beach, a New York-based firm just bought Delray Corner in Palm Beach County, which is right off Atlantic. So, and this is a trend we're seeing, right? These firms from New York, really big firms, have invested substantially in South Florida. This has been a trend for 10, 15
Apparently,
years.
when you build things up, it attracts more high profile investors. So I don't know. Maybe we should do something like that in Boca.
Yeah. Who would have thought? Well, this project is a little different. It's not in downtown. It's a little out west, and it's not really a project. It's a, let's see, O'Connor Capital Partners has added another major property to its South Florida portfolio, acquiring the Delray Corner Shopping Center. They paid $28.8 million for this location. That's $335 a square foot. So another PE firm, private equity firm, that's just buying up investment property in the area, still believing in the area, still getting deals done. And this place is 90-something% occupied. Let's see, it has 86,000 square feet of retail space. As you can see, it's right here on the corner. You guys probably, if you live in the area, you know it. It's just a little west of 95 and right off Military and Atlantic. So pretty busy little area here, which is interesting. But 28 million, that's a pretty big number for a retail space.
Well, that was what I was about to ask. I was like, 335 per square foot for Central Delray. I was like, is that
some of this stuff?
Expert. I mean, that just sounds a little high to me.
Some of this is trophy, good, just class A assets, Here's, like, not to say this is like the most amazing asset, but it's good. It's got, how many tenants do they say they have? It's a 9-acre parcel. Who knows, redevelopment potential down the road, but this is pretty cool, pretty good condition. Like, the facades look good. This is like a newer or a more updated, place. Let's see, CVS store built in 2018. They have Michael's in there, Bed Bath & Beyond. This is like a core place. They have a rent-a-car location. They have a lot of smaller tenants in here that make this probably a decent like just buy and hold and tuck away deal. So for one of their probably more class A secure funds, right? Mm-hmm. Let's see. In 2023, Delray Corner went under a major renovation that included Michael's opening in the big box store. So somebody invested a bunch of money in here to get this done. Yeah. The previous owner had an $18.5 million refinancing event on the property prior to that last year. So they refinanced it and then they sold it. Okay. All right. They sold it for 23. They refinanced for 18.5. So yeah.
I don't know. That seems odd. I don't know.
Yeah, it's this is kind of common for these bigger funds. They'll buy these things they're not like amazing returns, right? They'll just buy these assets, tuck them away, small margin return, but they feel safe with them. They feel like, Michael's
like
isn't going anywhere.
Progress starts heading west of 95 more,
it just is what it is. They just feel really secure with this stuff. They'll, they're competition for like Michael's, and they'll do all their homework and they'll see that like these anchor tenants, they're pretty secure. They probably have long-term leases, that type of stuff. So it just makes sense to buy something like that in like a more, I would say a class A, a safer fund with a little bit of a de-risked approach to things. They're not trying to knock it out of the park with this thing, and that's just kind of how it goes. So anyway, let's talk about this Boca Raton hotel.
I'll tell you what, that was something that I have to admit, I don't know a lot about other schools doing things like this. I mean, of course, you see universities all the time where they, reserve the right to, take over land that's near campuses and such. But in a case like this, to have something already in place and have it turned into student housing. I thought that was interesting.
So I hear where you're going with this, and I think it's a little different than what you're thinking, probably. But so what was interesting is this property was up for auction. Me and my business partner were looking at this because the auction price was started much lower than that. What they snagged this for, right? So basically, what happened here is there's an old Marriott. Not old, but an older Marriott property that wasn't performing really well. I'll show you actually where it is. It's the Residence Inn by Marriott. And it's closed, as you can see, permanently closed. Residence Inn. Kind of a unique location, right? What road is this? Congress, right? So FAU is right here, not too far away. They say about 3 miles away. So tucked in here around this little lake. They also have the extended stay suites next door. Maybe there's a bigger play at hand here. Maybe they'll pick this thing up too, right? But this is a private company that bought this.
Nice.
And they swooped in and they paid $15 million and they took it before the auction, right? So their plan, which I thought was pretty interesting because I thought about this at first when we were looking at the project, because actually my business partner who we buy property with, in his private equity job, it's a lot of what he does. He buys these properties and then they convert them, or they set up student housing around big universities. So this is kind of similar to what he was doing. But I thought this was a really cool idea. So the seller was a company called Waterstone for FTLL Hotel LLC. Buyer was FSV Boca LLC, which is a Michigan-based first holding management company led by a guy named John Briza. They financed it for $14.25 million. They paid $15. So that's bananas. They put a $15 million project and they put $750,000 down. That's
How the hell they pull
amazing.
That off?
Yeah. The sale price equates to about $125,000 a room, which that's a really good price for a Boca asset. These buildings don't look that old. It looks like it's in pretty decent condition. It was an operating extended stay residence. And so this is an extended stay property, which is pretty cool. So like they have, refrigerators,
right.
little kitchenettes in there. Right. So this is like something just kind of already set up for what they're planning to do. So you're going to turn this into student housing. That's like exactly what a student housing project looks like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. The buyer will remove the Marriott franchise and turn the 120-room hotel into student housing. They are planning to potentially use the Florida Live Local Act, which allows developers to bypass rezoning if it's at least 40% of the residential units are workforce housing. For residents earning up to 120% of the area median income. And if you know a little bit about the Florida Live Local Act, which we've talked about in the past, it's really not that much of a discount, right? That you need to give people, especially in Boca, because the median income is bananas.
I guess how they can do that if it was intended for student housing. I mean,
so they're gonna my guess is they're just gonna adjust 40% of this to a price bracket that works, and then the rest get charged, market rent. So I can see this working. If I graduated from Florida Atlantic University with an undergrad and a master's degree there, so I know the university really well, and I can say this, and we work with a lot of people from the university. Man, there's like a need for student housing. There really is. So this isn't even like this is like pissing in an ocean adding 120 rooms, right? So like they could add probably 400 rooms and the university probably wouldn't even flinch. Like people need housing there. That university is growing. It's awesome. It's an awesome time for Florida Atlantic University. It's in an awesome location in East Boca Raton. And they got a lot going on there, right? They got their medical program there now. They got a football team and a basketball team that's like, whatever, fun to watch, right?
Yeah, I mean, just a couple of years removed from a Final Four appearance. It's pretty remarkable. Quick question. You had done a video on this a couple of years ago. What happened with the project next to Wynwood? That was right across. You could see the campus like right across,
So believe it or not, I was driving by the other day.
I'm drawing a blank on the name of it.
It's right. It's not JC Mitchell School. It's right here. So
it was next to it. It was next to it. Yeah.
It's right next to it. So it's right here. They've been moving a lot of dirt, man.
Are they? Okay.
They're doing something. They're doing it there, which is interesting. So that's on its way. They're not like coming out of the ground with it, but I've noticed they've cleared the lot. They're making progress towards this. So that we need to check in and see where the approval process is there. I bet you they're like on their way to start coming out of the ground on that. I actually was surprised. I meant to tell you about that when I drove by. I was like, oh, this is great. So, man, there's so many projects in Boca that will change the area if they just hit, right?
Yeah.
What is this one called? University Park.
Oh, that's right. Here. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, which is from our friends that can't execute on the Mandarin deal. Yeah. So if they could get the darn Mandarin deal done, they maybe could spend some time building this thing, which will be freaking epic. And again, like, I'm sure a bunch of people are going to complain about this, but like, if this gets built here, yeah, I'm sure these guys would be a little upset. I totally get that. And I would resist it if I owned property there, or I would sell my damn property and move on to another location probably before that goes down. Because right now they're
not going to be the one complaining. It's going to be somebody like on the complete opposite side.
Totally, that's my point. So like, but like this is going to raise the value of every one of these homes in this area. No question.
Yeah,
no question. It's gonna improve that little area so much. You're gonna get more young traffic in there. It'll just be way better. The same goes for the Boca project, the Boca Downtown project. Like, tell me, and I guarantee you, like I know for a fact, the people that have signs all over the place are all the people like all in here. And I'm like, guys, like this is gonna be the best project for your neighborhood. You're creating a walkable, like, you know what happened to Meisner? $4 million lot, like properties, $5 million, $6, $7 million homes.
Yeah.
That's what you guys could be. Right now, you're selling for $3 million for new builds, 3.5 in these little areas. Dude, if you own a 2018, 2020 new construction home in this area, that goes from 3 million to like 4.5. If you own, one of these shoddy ones up here that are selling for like 7, 8, the dirt in downtown is 1.5 million to $2 million bucks. Believe me, these developers that are buying in this area, they know this. They're picking all these up. They're buying all these lots when they have the cash after they sell property. They're buying these and they're just holding and waiting for this to happen. So if you live in the area and you're going to be here for a little while, I mean, this is like a net like $500,000 to $1 million in your pocket in equity, right? Mm-hmm. So stop complaining.
Well, we know that's not going to happen. But anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Well. So anyway, this project over here, I found it very interesting, partially because they swooped in and they snagged it before the auction, which was kind of interesting.
How does that work?
They have relationships with the developer. Like it was published who the broker was and all that stuff because we were looking at it.
I see.
And we just didn't move forward on it. But I think this could be very interesting. This is doesn't sound like a bad deal. There's an execution here that is going to cost money. There's no question. It's not like they're just going to make money overnight. They got a process. I don't know if they had any issues with the with Marriott and getting released from whatever agreement that looks like, because Marriott usually has an agreement that you continue to operate these things, and there might be a contract and fees associated with getting out of that. Who knows what all these things look like? So on face value, it seems interesting, but maybe there's stuff behind the scenes that makes it less interesting, right? But that'll be good. As a student, though, just like this would probably be my last choice, right?
Well, because it's like 3 miles from campus. I mean, it's
So as a student, I'm like, but I think it'll work. again, it's all because
It's
there's
based
just
on
not enough
need. I
housing
mean,
right
I
now.
get it. If the demand is so high for student housing, it
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. So,
All right, we're gonna call it.
yeah, let's wrap it up.
All right. On behalf of Larry Mastropieri of the Mastropieri Group, I'm John Laws, Discover South Florida. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Have a great night and a great Labor Day weekend. We'll see you next time.